Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Unfit and Unharm. Yes, everything has come back now to order. It's now an Unfit and Unharm episode, unlike the cringe episode last week, which was Unharm and Unfit. I'm just kidding, of course. It was a great episode. But the point is, yes, I know I uploaded the April Fool's video late. I'm an idiot, I know. But that's beside the point. Now today we're going to talk about other things because we like to talk about things. I don't know what you want to talk about today. I have few others, but I would like you to go first because you said you have some kinds of interesting things to share.
Oh, so much. There's so much. It's like I've been bottled up. So the first thing I guess I'm going to want to talk about is yesterday, as you know, I play a lot of Town of Salem. They announced Town of Salem 2.
What? Wait,
yeah,
let me check that out.
Yeah, there's a new Town of Salem game called Town of Salem 2. And it's coming out in a month.
What's the difference?
Oh, basically they saw all the roles that were too overpowered in the first Town of Salem. They were like, we gotta nerf that. And they nerfed it.
No. Okay. I have no problem with sequels, but why not just, like, you know, nerf the current ones in the same mod? Like, you know what I mean? The same.
No, I think they're doing the right thing because I love the first Town of Salem a lot, but they nerfed the heck out of that game. And it's going to be a new game, and you're going to see a lot of new creators coming out of the new game. But other than that, that was just like, you know, a little spicy nugget to start the day off because, trust me, there is so much to talk about. Like, you would not believe. Like, in Pokemon, there's a lot to talk about. In Yu-Gi-Oh, there's a lot to talk about.
Oh, yeah. There are a lot to talk about in those.
I saw that they came out with more tech for that one deck that you liked, that you made a video about, the furries? No, what was it called again?
The fairies! The fairies!
You know what I'm talking about, right?
Just give me a context again because it's just the fairies. You're talking about tri-brigades?
No. I'll go to your channel. You made it recently, actually. Yeah, I'm on your channel. The Pearly?
I don't really like Pearly. Not to say that it's a bad deck, but like Pearly is the so-called supposed to be the GOAT deck in the OCG. But I'm not 100% sure it's actually going to end up the same way here, at least not now. Like, as much as like I like it to end up to be like the strongest deck because, you know, it's funny. But I don't think it's going to be. Like, we don't have the same ban list. We're not really a control kind of format compared to the OCG. We don't have Maxi and things of that nature. And Kashtira is still a thing. And I don't think they're going to hit Kashtira for the time being. So Pearly, while they might going to be good, I don't think they're going to be the best deck in the format. Like, they did get two nice cards of support.
I saw he got a little bit more support. I saw like he got a little bit more support since you made that video.
Yeah, that's why I wanted to make the shorts, but I don't really have the time. They got support, the Mekanko got support, the Rescue Ace got support, they all got support, which is nice.
Yeah,
but mostly I'm actually really excited for this set for one thing, because there are some particular archetypes that I care about that did get nice support, like Ultrageist, like Unchained, Synchron. I don't really care about this set as an overall because I'm not really trying after Duelist Nexus to kind of like buy like so many crazy things because I don't really care anymore. No offense, but like I'm in the point that like I'm going to care about like one or two sets, like really much so, and then it's like other sets I'm like, maybe I'm going to buy things from the reprint set and this set, and maybe like, you know, cards from here and there like once in a while when I earn enough money from YouTube or other things when I have spare change. But I don't really care about, you know, buying so much anymore. It's just not really not saying it's not fun. It's just like I'm not in the same phase of life that I can do whatever I want. And
No,
honestly, it's like
neither am I.
decks
Neither
are getting
am I.
are getting recycled anyway, so it's like, meh.
You're getting. I saw the set. I think it was the June set that's coming out, right?
Which one?
I forget the
Cyberstorm
name.
Access?
Yeah,
The core
think.
set?
Yeah, the core set, and it had
So Cyberstorm Access.
I saw that it had a ton of garbage, like an immense amount of garbage in it.
Cyberstorm Access? Are you serious?
No, not everything. It obviously has like a bunch of like, you know, good
It has
cards.
a lot of really good cards, but I do agree that there are also like a lot of common garbage. But
No.
yeah.
Like and a grievous amount of common garbage. Like the ratio is super high for the amount of garbage that
I
set
wouldn't
has.
say I agree with that because you do have the following. You have the firewall support, which is cool. It's mostly like support for cybers in general. You have the super heavy samurai support, which is absolutely ridiculous how strong it is. You have all the support for the so-called what is it called? End of story of Alba's lore, if you know what the Alba's lore is, which is like the dragon fusion guy. It started from the Rise of the Duelist. There's like a story about like the abyss and everything. It's kind of hard for me to explain the entire story. And it's like the evil. It's kind of like an idea of like an evil, like a Bloodborne kind of storyline, but not really. It's kind of start in the same like, you know, evil church-ish, fight a dragon that is not really evil, and then like one of the members of the church kind of like decide, oh, he's a good guy, and they decide to go together into their adventures or whatever. That's kind of the point. I do agree that the rest of like most of the cards that they got, like, you know, most of the archetype like got some like weird cards to finish the storyline. Those are garbage. There are some good ones, but the end of the storyline cards, most of them are trash. There are some cool cards like the two synchros, like the fusion, one of them, and like, you know, some other cards as well that are okay, but I do agree that some of them are kind of like looking like pretty much garbage. Then you have Mana Dome, which are okay, but they're not really good right now. Dream, like the Numerella, okay, I agree, it's actually kind of bad. You have Pearly, which is fine. You have Mekanko, which is getting support. It's not really that important, but still fine. You have the Teller Knights, which I do agree it's not really the best. We have Infinite Track, and then we have like also Amazement, and then we have like a bunch of like, you know, I don't know, cards that are garbage except for maybe one or two, maybe three from the Universal cards. And then we actually have some pretty decent cards. Like, there are a lot of, like, I do agree there are some kind of particular trash, but not that much. Maybe you're talking about the winter set, because the winter set definitely had, Photon Hypernova definitely had a lot of trashy cards that we don't really care about.
I just went on, what's it called, on Twitter, found a link that showed the set, and I went through the set myself, and I'm not the biggest, you know, Yu-Gi-Oh player, but I can recognize garbage when I see garbage. You know what I mean? Like,
yep.
A 3-star monster with 1100 attack, 1600 defense. That basically that its only ability is look at the top card of your deck or something like that. It was something like that. I don't remember what it was. Sounds like garbage, you know?
Oh, the imports are definitely garbage this set. They're absolutely atrocious, except for maybe one card I'm considering. The imports are absolutely atrocious. Like,
I may be wrong. I may be wrong about the ability, but I remember it was like something trashy that I was like, why would I put this in my deck, you know?
Are you talking about like a card? I think I know who we're talking about. I think its name is not this one. Maybe Vadis? No, Vadis is a level 4. But I don't know.
It was like something garbage like that. I'm like, if you're not grabbing me cards from the deck, you're terrible.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like, there are so many better cards. Like, and I was like, okay, it's at least an interesting mechanic, but like the rest of them, some of the cards just had like, I think I saw a 2-star card with 800 attack, 600 defense that literally had no ability, and I was like, why would anybody ever want to play that? You know?
Huh. Are you sure we're talking about the same set? Because I feel like that maybe you've seen some kind of like a normal monster somewhere. But anyway,
No, no,
the
no.
point
It's
is,
from this set. It's from this set. It said June 2023.
June 2023 is not the time that this set comes out. This set comes out in May. So
Then maybe I got it wrong, but like I remember seeing that and I was like, that's garbage.
oh,
Like,
I know what you said you're talking about. I know what set you're talking about. Battle of Legends. That's the one that you're talking about. That may be the one that you're talking about. Okay.
Maybe. I remember like seeing that
Because
and I
it
was like,
feels like a Battle of Legend thing.
I just remember seeing that and I was like, that's
2023. Let's see.
yeah. I remember.
I'm sorry,
June,
like for anybody who's like watching here and like thinking, "Oh my God, you're the Yu-Gi-Oh resident player. Why are you not like care about?" I don't really care that much. Like I do care, but like there's so many pack fillers. There's like, And I'm honestly not trying to defend this game sometimes because I do feel that there are a lot of trashy cards that a lot of people think that they're good. So I think I maybe know which card you're talking about now. Katie Corn, maybe? I think that's one. The plant guy. The little plant thingy.
I saw this like 2 weeks ago. I saw this 2 weeks ago. I remember that I just saw this and I was like, wait, that's garbage. Why would anybody pay like for like a bunch of...
There are good cards in the set. I'm not saying not, but they haven't really shown any good cards from this set. So it's like, yeah, there are a lot of like looking, but I do believe that they're going to print good cards. It just, what the hell, you printed now? Okay, so I'm looking through the new cards. Maybe I will find what you're talking about. Yes,
found it.
Not that one.
Battles of Legends, Monstrous Revenge.
Yeah, that one. I know, but I'm not know what card you're talking about.
You're right. I don't remember what card I saw, but all I remember is I saw like on Twitter, you know how sometimes you go through Twitter sometimes and you see like somebody posting early cards from a set.
Mm-hmm.
So I saw that and I was like, why would anybody want that? It literally has no effect. Like, I think it led me to a website and I saw the card. I think it was in Japanese. I could be wrong, but it was like. But it's like you saw attack defense, right? And literally the entire area where usually there is like an entire library of information was empty. And when you read the the translation, it literally said nothing, like said no, nothing, didn't say anything. And I was like, wait, this card is basically filler. And that is something that I see enough in Pokemon that I hate to see it also in Yu-Gi-Oh!
Mm-hmm. Don't get me wrong, filler cards... Actually, you know what? Filler cards are not justified. I tried to find maybe finding a justification for them, but no, they're not justified. At the very least, like, create something that's actually, like, decent. Not like a card that just does absolutely nothing and is a neg million.
It's like you're paying... How much is a pack of Yu-Gi-Oh? Like $6?
A pack of Yu-Gi-Oh is actually not that expensive. Actually,
yeah,
$4.
3 or 4?
3 or 4, sometimes even less, depending on the pack.
3 or 4.
This card, in my opinion, is actually kind of bad if you're talking about this one, which is if this card is special summon and you control no cards in your field zone, add 1 field spell from your deck to your hand. If this card is destroyed by battle, a card effect sent to the graveyard to convert 1 field spell in your graveyard. Add 1 card with the same name for your deck. It's okay. It's not the...
All I remember is I'll tell you what the tweet was. I don't remember who tweeted it. I remember he just like he said look at this garbage, and he basically posted like a thread of like a bunch of of cards that are supposed to be in that set, and I was like, that's not looking good. That's Pokemon level of trash.
Okay.
Speaking of Pokemon, there is so much to talk about. Oh my god. I know exactly
like
where
what?
to start. No.
Like
okay,
what?
this is... No. This is a story that's related to Pokemon, but it's something that's also not related to Pokemon. This is actually a legal thing. So there was a set Was it Chilling Reign or Battle Styles? This is from like 2 years ago. I think this is Chilling Reign. Anyways, in Pokemon in North Carolina, Pokemon bought years ago its own printing, facility, right?
Okay.
And turns out that a bunch of workers here were stealing like high-end cards and going around the country and selling them to card shops, and and not pulling them themselves. Like usually the amount of money that you need to pull out the amount of cards, they must have stolen $1 million worth of cards, just that set. Like
Really?
we're talking about high end stuff. Now this happened. Now a lot of people get this story wrong because they're not in the community, but I am, and I heard a little bit more than what they heard. They think that this is ongoing. What they don't know is that this whole story started and ended already back in January. Like it started in September of 2021, and the investigation ended in January of 2023. Where basically, I think this is Chilling Reign. When Chilling Reign came out, everybody was complaining how they weren't getting hits. They weren't getting like hits. And of course they weren't getting hits. Yeah, good cards, because all of the good cards were being stolen by a bunch of people who worked in the
factory.
Who worked in the facility in the printing press.
I guess.
And they stole like a bunch of full art Umbreon VMAXs. Now Umbreon VMAX was a competitive card. What it did was it did like a straight 160 for dark type that was actually decent at the time, because there were other cards that it interacted with, but it had an ability that basically said that when you put it into play, you can drag a Pokemon from the bench to the active of your opponent. It was like a free boss's orders. Not the point. Point is, it had a beautiful artwork, and that card was worth, each one ungraded was like 150.
Wow.
It was supposed to be like that hard to pull. You understand what we're talking? What we're on? Like,
yep. People stealing stuff, as always.
Yes, because everybody obviously played the low rarity version of the card that was worth like $8. Like are you hearing that? The low rarity was worth $8. The
what is a low rarity for your Pokemon in that regard?
Oh, basically, usually artwork done by like 5-band graphics. It's not. It's just like the basic one.
It's a common. It's a rare. What is it?
It's secret rare.
Okay, secret rare $8 is actually pretty good price compared to what Yu-Gi-Oh gets. We get things that are super expensive.
No, but then there's like the secret rare is once again, I think it was $8 at the time, or now it's $8. Like don't catch me on the word, because it's like it's been a while since I knew what the prices of Umbreon VMAXs were. But the alt art is like where the money is at. That's the one that everybody wants, you know what I mean?
Obviously.
And they're like supposed to be like one in every like 3 boxes, 1 in 5 boxes, something crazy like that. And us as a community, the people who are like actually players, have had this feeling that for the past 8 years, 7 years, 6 years, something like that, ever since Pokemon really made a boom, people were stealing the cards. Like the good cards that are like worth a lot of money. Like the Tapu Leles, like the Lycanroc GXs.
That this happens because I would not say that, but like you remember in the pandemic how crazy it was?
Yeah. For Pokemon, it was super crazy.
People steal that all the time.
But that's not where the story ends. What happened was these people, like 2 years ago, went to a card shop in Texas, and they were like, "Yo, we have all these cards. We want to sell them. Do you want to buy them?" And they didn't come with like 5 or 6 cards. They came with like an egregious amount of cards. If you know what, it's actually worth showing you the screenshot. So
Okay.
it's trust me, this is going to like when you're gonna see the picture, you're gonna be like, oh my god. Hold on, I just need to quickly. Yeah, got the car. Got the picture. Oh, it's from Fusion Strike.
Oh, there it is.
My bad. It was from Fusion Strike. I got the wrong set.
Oh my god, that doesn't make any sense. But sure.
They're all and they're all real cards.
Yeah, I know. I can see that they're also like rainbows and stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah. So you see that so all the way to the right, these are Mew VMAXs. Mew VMAX was the BDIF for like an entire year and a half, and this card was easily. Let me put it in perspective. Just to own 4 copies of this card online, not in real life, online, it would cost you around $200.
Excuse me?
Yes. Like, to have a playset of these would be like $600. In real life. It was like crazy expensive. Oh, and they have the Espions, the Secret Rare Espion, and they have, oh my god, the training courts. Like, trust me, the amount of money that's in this is probably like a good mill.
Jesus. But why though?
Because everybody knows.
Why people are so greedy?
Think they can get away with it. Yeah. And it's like the crazy part. By the way, we're going to attempt to put this photo in the video on YouTube so that the people who are watching it on YouTube can see. But trust me when I tell you it, this is a crazy amount. And from what the rumors are, this is just the tip of the iceberg. This is like nothing. Because you need to understand, each stack that you see, each stack is like 500 cards. You understand how much money there is in that photo?
A lot of money in that photo.
Right. So what this card shop in Texas did was, they called the police, they called TPCI, and they told them, these people came with these cards that seemed to be real, and they think that it was stolen. And it was stolen, but that's not where it ends.
Stolen from the community.
It was stolen from everyone who bought packs. Because when you buy a pack, you're expecting it to get a good hit. Like a hit that's worth money.
But nope. Money. What is money?
Exactly. But they fixed that, and people were like shocked because the next set that came after Fusion Strike, which is called Brilliant Stars, when that set came out last year, a year and a half at this, no, in a year and 3 months ago, people were like shocked that they were getting hits. People were like, "Oh my god, I'm opening this pack and I'm getting a hit. I'm opening this pack and I'm getting a hit.
I'm opening a pack and I'm actually getting a card. Wow."
A card that I need." And people were like shocked that they were getting all of their Arceus V-Stars. Now, to give perspective to all the Yu-Gi-Oh listeners who don't know what Arceus V-Star does, Arceus V-Star recently won, when I say recently, I mean like a few days ago. Like maybe a week ago, something like that. Within the last 10 days, Arceus V-Star won a huge event called the European International Championship in Pokemon, where what the card does is it has an ability, or in your case, an effect that's a V-Star effect that you can only use once per game, where you can where you flip your V-Star counter, right? and you use Arceus V-Star's ability, and that's called Star. I forget what's the name of the ability, but basically you search your deck for any two cards, cards, like in any game that's broken, you know.
Searching your deck for any two cards. Yep, it's pretty insane.
Because if you had that in Yu-Gi-Oh, how insane would that be?
Search for any two cards I want?
Yeah.
Pretty ridiculous.
It would be in every deck.
Pretty ridiculous.
Like, no questions asked. Search for two cards, put them into your hand. It's not like the Burial card where you have to wait 3 turns in order to get it. You get it instantly. Like, that's the level of good it was. And people were, like, getting it. Because it's because people were like, oh, finally I'm getting one every I'm getting like 2 per booster, like 1 per booster box or 2 per booster box. You know, people are like, oh, I'm finally getting the card that I need, and people are like, oh, we can finally play the card. And then Arceus V-Star became like this huge deck because everybody had access to it because the cards were in the packs. Now, if Pokemon had this problem. And don't get me wrong, like, Pokemon is not this perfect pedestal company game that but you know, if Pokemon had this problem, I'm willing to bet that Yu-Gi-Oh is also having this problem, and I'm willing to bet also Magic is having this problem behind the scenes to some level, to some degree, because that I have seen, like, a guilty pleasure of mine. Once a month I go to I just search, you know, on YouTube, somebody opening up like 40 booster boxes, you know, and showing all the hits, and he opens up like 40 booster boxes or something like that, and he's like, I spent $30,000 on this card. The amount of money in cards I got back, including, like, you know, if he was able to sell all the commons and whatever, he said would be around $8,000.
Wow.
Where it's like, you spent like 30,000, you know, and you're getting back only 8,000 back in profit. Not profit. You're losing 22,000. And this was like a huge scandal in the Pokemon community. Like, I wasn't aware of it until February of this year. In February, I heard about this, but I didn't have the evidence to back up what I was going to say, so I didn't want to talk about it. But now that the investigation is over, and the investigation has been over since January, but only in the past couple of weeks, everything came out. Everybody's been talking about it. Even Charlie from Moist Critical had like so many different people talking about it because it's a huge scandal. We're talking about thievery. Like, it wouldn't surprise me if these people went to jail, to actual jail.
People are just thieves. Sometimes it's insane. Because they're willing to do. Everybody
is aware right now that Pokemon cards are worth something. I said to you last week something on Discord. Remember?
The IRS taxing?
Yeah. Send that to me right here, because we're going to talk about that. Because I also have insight on that story that's worth talking about, because if it's happening to Pokemon, it's going to happen to Yu-Gi-Oh! So, this guy, a Dark Legacy.
No.
So here's what happened. Okay, this guy he runs, you know, a channel trying to grow, a presence on the internet, right?
Okay, that's fine.
That's fine. So he decided to, you know, do a giveaway for Mew VMAX, the Japanese card. Now this is like the low rarity card that's worth at the moment $2 because, you know, it's towards the end of its lifespan. You know, it's about to be rotated within half a year. It's worth like $2 at this point, and it's like the Japanese version.
So it's even worth less.
Sometimes Japanese cards are worth more, and sometimes they're worth less. This is one of those rare cases where it's like worth less.
Okay.
But the so this is only worth maybe $2, right? So he had it. He had it in a plastic casing. He sent it, via a letter because it's not a big deal. And apparently, in America, it was this letter was opened by what's it called, by the postal office, and they redirected this to the IRS because they thought this was worth a lot of money.
Why?
How dystopian is that?
Even so, what is that your business? Like, seriously.
Because
you open up letters?
They're opening up letters, yes.
I mean, with us, it's not that much better. Like, the amount of taxes we're getting for everything is insane. Because
they think that they're dealing with the $120 version of the card. The max rarity one that's graded
so detached.
PSA 10. When this is not graded, you can see that this is not a graded card. This is just in a hard plastic.
Yeah, but the fact that you even open up the letter and started to do that, it's insane to me that they're starting to do that.
Because from their perspective, they're viewing this as a taxable object that needs to be declared, which is insane to me. That's insane to me, Like, bro,
this world is so terrible.
So if they're doing this to Pokemon, you bet that they're gonna start doing this to Yu-Gi-Oh 2 and to Magic 2 and to pretty much everyone. And the future of card games is going to end up being online, and it's the best online card game. It's not Pokemon, it's not Yu-Gi-Oh, and it's not Magic.
Hearthstone.
Hearthstone is going to be the king.
I'm not saying that Hearthstone is the best online game in terms of everything, but it was, like, I wouldn't even say it's the first one. It's the first, like, actual good one that they kind of, like, created a really, really good platform. Easy to understand, very easy to do things, and kind of, like, pretty addicting, honestly. So, yeah, it's probably going to be the best platform moving forward, if that's what we're going for. Because, yes, Master Duel is good and everything. People like Yu-Gi-Oh! And Master Duel, but Master Duel is, like, lacks so many modes. Pokemon, I don't know. I don't really have enough experience. Magic, I heard that it's, like, it's okay, it's alright. And there was also the fifth person in the room, which is, like, the top 5. We have to talk about top 5. And that is Legend of Runeterra, which is fine, but it's...
No, the problem with
as
Legends
much as,
of
like, I
Runeterra,
would like to say it's fun, it's not that interesting. Oh, and also there is Snap, which I forgot about. It might actually Snap win, but then again...
Snap. Marvel Snap is actually decent from what I heard.
Yeah, it's pretty good, and a lot of people like it, but on the other hand, you also know that we're in decline of this superhero genre thing, so it's might actually going to kill its popularity as well. Like, the superhero era is about to end, at least from the way it seems. Like, it's so bad. Like, there's so many bad movies of superheroes right now. Like, so many.
Yeah,
so many.
A lot of people are getting tired of superheroes. Did you see that Scarlett Johansson decided to walk away from being the Scarlet Witch, not Scarlet Witch, the
Black Widow?
Black Widow, yeah.
But she wasn't, like, she was Black Widow, but she died technically. Technically,
no,
is that the reason why she?
No, but like there's always more stuff to make out of it. You know what I mean? Like, she can be like in flashback. You mean a
side series, okay. Yeah, people are just getting tired of this. Like,
because something that Scorsese, I think it was so Scorsese. Bad. I think it was Scorsese, but I could be wrong. Who said that all of the what's it called? This is something that I agreed with him like 8 years ago. All of the superhero movies are the same movie because that.
Yep.
I don't have the
They're the same
for
formula, unfortunately.
It's the same. Kind of like it's the same format. Yes, you have a beginning, middle, and end, but they all feel like they're the same thing. The only one that broke
you can say that to almost every single movie right now, even though there are some new refreshing ones. But like, a lot of movies take that formula, and they're also taking the same idea of humor and the same idea of that because it's so successful. It's like,
Oh, I agree.
Everything has just been lobotomized into a little kind of like a formula, and every single studio that can make it will just make you the same thing, and we're not being inventive anymore.
Yeah, you know what I noticed? They haven't really been making comedy movies in the past couple of years.
Comedy movies, pure comedy. I agree with you. Pure, not really. It's always comedy intertwined with something else, like adventure, like I don't know, horror somehow.
Like in
Like
the
things like that. Like
2000s,
it's never like the
even
comedy
rom-coms,
front
even
and center.
rom-coms, even rom-coms.
It's not even it's never like comedy front and center. I agree.
like even rom-coms
It's
are
so
dead.
weird how we went to that way. Oh,
Like,
my back.
there isn't really a movie that I want to go see in the theaters. Maybe the only movie that I wanted to see recently was John Wick 4, but I was like, I can wait for
Yeah.
that.
There's only one movie, like also John Wick 4 I want to see, and also technically I know that's not the like that, but people talking about it in the Super Mario movie. I think it's
The
could
Mario
be fun.
movie, the Mario movie could be fun if I was younger, but like I'm an adult.
Yeah, could be fun. Maybe if I want to see it with my wife, if she wants something like that, like more low level, because she doesn't really like super high level adult movies when we're talking about movies, because she doesn't like gory stuff, or you know what I mean. It's like she doesn't really like. She mostly like romance and
Yeah.
things like that. So that's why. I'm mentioning that. And then the last one is actually one that I'm actually super happy about, because I'm so happy to see that actor finally doing what he's good at, and that is Rainfield with Nicolas Cage as Dracula. I am so pumped for that movie. I know it's not the best movie, but Nicolas Cage is such a good actor. And
You know what?
That's the roles that you should take. The
You know
roles
what?
of the crazy psychopath.
I'm about to say something that's going to be like heathen wise, but I always enjoyed Nicolas Cage. Even in his bad movies, he was really good.
Yeah, Nicolas Cage. Did you know also he's Spider Noir in Spider-Verse?
Yeah,
Not
I
a
know
lot of
that.
people know that.
Oh,
Not a lot
everybody
of people
knows
know that.
Everybody knows that.
Not really. Kind of like at the start, maybe right now, but at the start, actually, when I talked with people, nobody even noticed that, because his voice, like, he sounds so calm and tame compared to what he is. I was like, wait, that's Nick Cage. But people didn't really believe me until I showed them in the credits that's Nick Cage.
You know what other Marvel character Nicolas Cage has acted as?
Yes, I know. It's hilarious.
Who?
What is it called? I forgot his name. The Fire
Ghost Rider.
Skull guy. Ghost Rider,
Ghost
right?
Rider. I love the Ghost
God,
Rider.
that movie was hilarious.
It was a good
It's so-
movie. It was a good
No,
movie.
the first one was good. The second was as hilarious how cartoonish it was.
You know what?
The second was cartoonish.
I enjoyed it.
I'm not saying I didn't enjoy those. I'm just saying they were cartoonish. I'm not saying I didn't enjoy those. I also really love, what movie that he does with John Travolta? Face Off, because it's such a hilarious movie that Nicolas Cage have to act as John Travolta acting as Nicolas Cage, and the other way around. John Travolta act as Nicolas Cage and have to act like John Travolta. It's hilarious.
Yeah, so there's another movie that he played in that was like a one-shot movie that it's not as famous, but I love that movie a lot. Have you ever heard of the movie Next?
Yes, I heard of it. I never seen it. I don't remember what he does all about. I also remember I remember right now that he's also creating film himself that he also featured in, but that's beside the point.
So let me tell you what Next is about real quick. It's about a guy who has the ability to see 2 minutes into the future.
Okay. Oh, what's next? I think I heard about that concept. Yeah. I think that's kind of like the phrase, what's next?
No, but you know what he does for money?
What?
He lives in Las Vegas. He always goes to like the slot machines, and he goes to see which one is going to make him money. He never goes to like places where he's interacting with other people. He goes to the slot machines and he sticks to making every night like $3,000, $4,000, a low ball money.
Just making money and live. Actually, that's really smart. If you're trying to keep a low profile, that's really smart. Like, you don't need to kind of like have a really grand ability, but it's really, really smart.
Because you can bet that
cool.
he can play in like blackjack or something and win every time, But
Yep,
I always
that's
said,
beside the
man,
point.
you know, when I was younger and I got into like card games, I always thought, man, I wish I had that ability.
Yeah, it's kind of feels not really, but kind of
No,
like
no. But you know what
the
I would do with that
world.
ability? You know what I would do with
No,
that
no,
ability?
you understand what I mean. It kind of feels like the way, kind of opposite of the world and things like that. Like you don't stop time, you look through the future. It's something else. It's kind of like
No,
a JoJo
no.
stand ability.
Yeah, no, yeah, exactly. But you know what I was always thinking I would do if I had that
that's
ability?
King's Crimson ability. In a way, that's King's
In a
Crimson.
way, yeah, in a way. No, but hear me out, hear me out. So when I was younger, like we're talking like 10 years ago, and I thought, man, if I had that ability, you know what I would do with it? I would go to card shops and I'd be like picking out specific packs that get all the hits. And only pay for the packs that I open, you know?
That depend, of course, on the vendor, because not all vendors allowing you to pick the pack from the box, but yes.
No, only the ones that let me pick, you know? I'd be like, yo, here's 100. I have $100, you know, I'd show him. I'll pay you in the end. I just want to open packs. Whatever I want, I pay. Whatever I open, I pay for. And then I leave or something like that, you know? And I'd be like, I'd be leaving with like dollar bills, yo, you know? And I'd be like opening like all like the good hits, and I'd be leaving all the bad hits. I'm such a weeb because I know that that's what I would do with that ability. I wouldn't rob banks. I wouldn't rob people. I wouldn't.
Why would I rob banks? It sounds such a big work, like big heavy work, and actually doing something dangerous. I will just do something simple. Earn my
like
little
open
living
packs.
at the time.
Open packs.
Open packs and sell to the best person I can sell to.
Pretty much. I know that's bad because it's like, you know, manipulating.
Exactly what we talked about earlier. But speaking of being a weeb, there are a few actually really good anime seasons, like anime shows right now in the current
Doctor Stone season 3, yeah.
Doctor Stone season 3, and finally, if I'm allowed to say that, I think it's season 3. So, skip if you haven't watched Doctor Stone. I recommend it 100%. I will just say that we'll just jump, just like the last episode, 30 seconds right now, and it will tell you when it's safe. But 3, 2, 1. I am so happy that they finally got to Y-Man.
Y-Man.
Yeah, Y-Man.
I was so hyped for that.
Yeah, but I know where the story is going, but that's beside the point. Anyway, if you are continue listening, this is the time that you can come back.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm really excited for Doctor Stone. Doctor Stone is amazing. Season 3 is pretty good. I'm not sure where they're going to stop it. They're probably going to stop it in around the arc of New World.
This is actually the one.
It's kind of hilarious because it's called New World, but the arc of New World is really later in the manga. So
I'm going to say something. This is the one manga that I haven't read to date. I always stop where the anime is at because I think the anime is really good.
Yeah, it is.
Like, you know how a lot of anime is like very mid compared to the manga?
Oh yeah.
This is like not one of those cases. This is one of those cases where it's like it's fun to watch the anime. It's like, yes, the manga is better, but not by much. Like, I'm gonna have a lot of time reading the manga when I get to where I need to get. But you heard like what show? Like a lot of people are saying that the animation for a show that just came out, My Hero season 6, wasn't up to par. Did you hear that?
Yeah. Also, just forget to say something about Dr. Stone, which you might be surprised about. I don't really watch a lot of MatPat's video, only specific ones, but MatPat nailed it on the head. I'm not going to ruin it for you. He nailed it on the head who Y-Man is. Just if you will find that video, he nailed it. He know who he is.
So don't look it up if you want to have fun.
Yeah. I'm just saying it. I'm kind of telling everybody, like, you know, if you are looking to it, don't look into that video because you're kind of going to ruin the ending for yourself. Because he's kind of like nailed it to 99%.
I forgot
almost
to tell
exactly for everything.
I forgot to tell everyone the truth about the Unfit and Unharm podcast. The truth is, we were meant to be a weeb podcast, but that never happened.
Yep. I mean, we like to talk about different things. Why would we just have to be weebs?
Because we're weebs.
I mean, we're talking about weeby things anyway, but yeah, that's beside the point. Anyway, you mentioned something about My Hero Academia not being up to par.
Yeah, it was not. It was the animation, from what I heard, wasn't that great. But I've already lost love for My Hero. Like I got to
Same.
like all the way to like a chapter in the manga. Chapter 340. I pushed myself to chapter 340.
Is it over finally or not?
I don't know. They're up to like chapter 380 or 90 at this point. Like a year ago, I stopped reading the manga because it's like, I was like, okay, Deku is just such a disappointment of an MC. I don't want to read this.
Yep.
Like, unlike Asta from Black Clover, who is an amazing MC, the problem with Black Clover is that he takes a lot of breaks and he puts in like.
Although he did start the final arc, I believe, like what he said
did
is
start
going to be
the final arc,
the final saga of the story, which will be the final arc technically because there are many arcs. The point is
The point is the problem with Black Clover is he puts in way too little information in every single chapter. Like he drags it off. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but it's still fun.
I didn't say it's not fun. It's always going to be fun. But like you have to wait a month to read enough chapters worth of to justify your
understand.
Time.
Yeah. Also, speaking, just finish what you want to say because I do have something.
No, I'm done.
Speaking of Black Clover, there's actually a series that kind of, not really exactly, but is close in premise for the idea. If you heard of a new anime called Muscle, which is the idea is like, you know, a guy that literally has no powers whatsoever. He's not getting a girl more, nothing soever. Everything is with his muscles. He's even more buff than Asta, in my opinion. But the point is, the entire idea, he's super stupid and very innocent. And he's just trying to become the best student, divine emissary or whatever, because that's something that he have to do. I'm not going to ruin to your first episode. But the point is like, he's really strong. And it's hilarious, the weird things he finds. Like, he's a musclehead, but the ways that he finds a way to deal with stuff is hilarious. It's kind of like taking the idea of what Black Clover is and turning it in comedy to 11. To the idea of like, oh, if I cannot get rid of you, I'm just going to bury you alive. Because you cannot do anything. Or I'm going to attack you with my wand. And then it's like, oh, I'm just going to break your wand. What are you going to do now? I'm going to punch you to death.
I love that stuff.
It's hilarious. And another one is, of course...
It's been the past couple of months have been very interesting in the anime world because we had a lot of good shows. A lot of bad shows.
Ones.
Like the dog one, very bad. You know what it is. I know what it is. We don't have to talk about it. I know what it is. I am very... Okay. I heard about this show a couple of weeks before it came out, and I was like, what is this about? I know I'm not going to like it, but I have to know what it's about. I read the synopsis, like, online of what, like, people said the show was about. I was like, oh, no, this is worse than, like...
The Chainsaw Man dog thing.
Chainsaw Man? No,
it's even worse than that.
No, it's worse than...
No. The Chainsaw Man has that dog thing that, like, you know... what's his name again? Kind of like...
Pochita?
That's what I'm trying to say. Like, the motif of him being a dog, I understand that he's important to the part of the story, but you know how happened with Mikama, whatever her name is? It's whatever, like, the red-haired chick. I don't know why I don't remember their names right now. Makima, right. I don't know why I don't remember their name right now with, like,
because she's a bad person. She's a bad devil.
Yeah, I know. There are some people who don't know what she is, but the point is, which I'm hoping you didn't spoil that to them, but the point is that, yeah, it's a good series, but the motif of, like, the dog thing and, like, how people, like, oh, step on me, queen, and stuff like that, just... And this is even reinforcement that even more of the dog anime. So it's like, this was actually tame. This one is terrible.
Like, have some self-respect, man. You know.
Self-esteem, something.
No,
Also,
forget
another
self-esteem. Self-respect.
Okay. Also, another thing is that there's still millions of isekais running around.
Oh my god, I can't with all these isekais. Oh, I was reincarnated
There's
as a
always
sword.
just going to be one in a million that's going to be good now. And
Let's
if
be
even.
honest, isekai does not mean what you think it means anymore. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like, there used to be, like, when isekais were good, there were only like 3 or 4 of them, you know?
Yep. And I know it's maybe a not popular opinion for some people who really like that show, but Sword Art Online wasn't one of them. So just for beginning, Sword Art Online was never one of the 4 good ones. It was the most popular one, but it wasn't the good one.
You know what? Season one wasn't as bad as everyone says it was.
I'm not saying that it's bad. Good. I'm not saying it's good either.
It wasn't good. It wasn't good, but it wasn't as bad as everyone.
Season 1 was good. Even the inclusion of like Alfheim, whatever it is, the elf part of the season, kind of like finishing the story, was also decent. Although I do think it was kind of like unnecessary for the point of what it was supposed to make. But whatever.
You know what was a good isekai?
But then it's just that. So yeah.
You know
what's
what
a good isekai in here?
Overlord.
Overlord is a good isekai. I agree. Yes, Overlord is weird in season 3 and 4, but it's still really, really good.
6 out of 10.
Yeah, it's good. Overlord is good. And if you're looking for another kind of like same idea of Overlord, kind of like an evil kind of main protagonist, but to 11, Tanya the Evil is even worse. Like in a good way. That it's like she's so evil. And it's hilarious.
What's the name of that one show, that one isekai that everybody loves, and I think it's trash, but like it's okay trash. Konosuba.
What?
Konosuba.
Speaking
is
of
okay.
Konosuba, Konosuba is also okay, but Konosuba is supposed to be a comedy isekai, that's why I like it. It's a good trash. There is also another one that's really close to it, that's from the same studio or same person that kind of drew or whatever, that's called I forget what the name of that is. But it's
tell me the premise.
Whatever dispatched. I forgot the name of it. Like combatants be dispatched. It's fun. I like it. It's a little bit fun servicey, a little bit like Konosuba, but I like it. I found it in the same kind of vein of like the same style of humor, so I liked it. There's also the new Konosuba show with Megumin, which I don't think she's best girl, but everybody allows to think what they like. And there's also what's another isekai that a lot of people like.
You know my rule about Konosuba, right?
What?
My one rule for Konosuba is don't be rooting for anybody. I don't
root for anybody.
There's not a single
person that is a good person in that show.
Yes. Now, the person who is like the funniest in my opinion to watch is Darkness. But that's just my perspective.
I agree. Darkness is hilarious. She's the
Darkness is not a good person.
Everybody call her useless. Okay, I know that she's kind of useless, but she actually does her job the best. She actually wants to take hits. That's why she's a paladin.
Oh yeah. No, but like
she actually does her job.
Like there is not a single person in the entire world of Konosuba who is like root worthy. You know how you watch a lot of shows and you're like rooting for somebody? Like even though I'm not the biggest Naruto fan, watching Naruto I was rooting for him, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like watching
Combatant v Dispatched is the same thing actually, but yeah.
There's not a single person in the entire world of Konosuba who I root for, and I think the worst person in the world of Konosuba is the main character. I think he's a real scumbag.
I love him so much. Like, you know, in the way of like being a scummy character, I love him so much. He's such funny. And there's also, of course, and there also I forgot to mention, of course, another isekai because I don't want it to be out of my head is, of course, that time I got reincarnated to the slime. That's also kind of like I actually think that is kind of like the considered to be overpowered character vanilla anime. kind of create my own kingdom that becomes like the main standard. Like there's three kinds of isekais, which either you start from nothing, or you're kind of like super overpowered and you're just like doing things in the world, or you're super overpowered and you're also creating a kingdom, or kind of a combination of the three. I don't know. It's kind of like those three genres and that's it.
So there's another genre of isekai that's not terrible, that a lot of people overlook because they don't really know, and that's pharmacy isekai. Have you ever heard of that?
Pharmacy? What is pharmacy isekai?
Where you go into another world and your abilities is being a pharmacist.
Pharmacist? I heard about the cooking isekai, but what the hell is to do with a pharmacist? Is there a show about a pharmacist?
Yes, there are two isekai about pharmacy. There's Parallel World Pharmacy, which is actually decent. It's like a 5 out of 10.
Okay.
And there's Drugstore in Another World, which is like... The manga is a 7 out of 10. The anime is like a 4 out of 10.
Also, speaking about weird things about pharmacists...
No. But I just want to say something. Do not knock off pharmacy isekai. They're actually fun.
I don't know what that is for some reason, but
let me
I will look into it, but sure.
No, I'll explain to you the fun elements of pharmacy isekai, and you tell me if it's interesting or not. You're going to the world of pharmacy isekai, and you're not battling like the demon lord. You're not looking to like take over a town or something like that. You're basically going there and you're healing like all the locals in the area that you spawn in. And you have like abilities to like, make drugs, like to heal people.
Huh. Interesting.
So like if you're getting into it, I do not recommend Drugstore in Another World. I recommend Parallel World Pharmacy, but Drugstore in Another World is or the cheat drugstore. Anyways, has different names. The point of that show is, the reason why I hate that show is because you know how sometimes they do like transition scenes that are really annoying in some anime.
Yeah.
So Drugstore in Another World is basically their biggest sin is that they do a lot of transition scenes that are incredibly annoying. Like every time the main character is trying to cook a drug, instead of going to like the intricacy of like what goes into the drug, they basically show like a cute slideshow where it's like you see some fan service, not like not naughty fan service, but you see like the fan servicey characters dancing, and suddenly poof, there's drugs. You know what I mean? Like that's annoying to me.
Okay.
But in Parallel World Pharmacy, like the main character is already like he comes from our world already with pharmacy knowledge, and he implements it. Knowledge, yes. I know what you're referencing.
Also, speaking about like weird things about healings or stuff like that, there's also for some reason the second season of Redo the Healer that's coming soon.
I saw that. You want me to tell you the crazy thing? I read the clean version of Redo of Healer. Like, there's a clean version of Redo of Healer. I didn't read like the manga. I read like...
I know that there's also like censored and uncensored anime.
No. I read like the cliff notes of what's going on. The story is not that bad. However,
I don't even know what like the kind of like the idea of Redo the Healer, because I never really kind of paid attention, because I always heard that it's not that good.
Okay, so let me explain to you why it's okay and why it's terrible at the same time. It's basically full of like despicable acts against humanity that this one guy does because it was done against him. So he redoes.
I kind of know that scene from the first episode or whatever, that like they broke his hands or whatever.
But afterwards, he basically goes around and he tries to right like a lot of the wrongs that the kingdom has done to like other people. Like there's an Ice Wolf clan where he tries to free them from the kingdom's clutches, and stuff like that. Like it's actually not that terrible. If you're what's it called? If you're just reading it like in a light novel type, in like an edited light novel version, You know what I mean? Like once you get rid of the R word and the other stuff, it's not that terrible. The problem is they do way too much of the terrible stuff in it to justify to even read the wiki. Reading the wiki is something I'm not comfortable with. You know what I mean?
I just don't understand, like, what's the premise is, like, what he...
The premise is there's a demon lord. There's a demon lord that, and the demon lord is supposedly strong, but the demon lord is actually not that strong in reality.
Okay.
However, if you defeat the demon lord, you get the demon heart, and with the demon heart, you can use it to like, if you're a hero, being a hero means you're at the top of the class of a certain magic that you have an affinity to. So you have like the bullet hero, you have the blade hero, you have the magic hero, and then you have
kind of like what they have done with shield hero. But yeah, I understand the point of that.
And the healing hero. So basically, the healing hero, which is the main character, basically has all the powers of alchemy. Plus the ability to steal.
But why people hate him so much? Like hated him at the start so much? I don't understand.
Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. You know how powerful Edward Elric is. You know, as an alchemist. Yep. So imagine that. Imagine that minus the need for the knowledge, plus the fact that you can pretty much steal whatever you want and steal other people's abilities. Like that's how powerful like this main character is, and not to mention like he has the ability to see other people's stats, and he has the ability to shapeshift himself. They basically let him be God.
Yeah, I know that there is also kind of like a thing about him being also a girl. I don't know.
Yes.
But what the idea is that like he's so evil all of a sudden?
Oh, he once again, Redo of a Healer is one of those shows where the only person who you want to root for are the innocent people who die early on.
Oh wow, that bad.
That it's that bad because you know how you have people who live in like these villages who didn't do anything bad. They're just living their their innocent lives, and they get killed. Like those are the people who you root for because they're innocent. You don't root for the main character. You don't root for nobody there is innocent. Nobody alive is innocent.
Dear God. But it's like taking Konosuba to the bad level.
Let's put it this way.
God.
Yeah, basically that. It's basically taking... Konosuba is an angel compared to Redo of Healer. I do not recommend it. I did not watch any of it. I just read the Cliff Notes. The Cliff Notes are interesting, but I do not recommend anybody touch that with a 10-foot pole. And you know what I saw? I saw like a joke on online.
What joke?
Okay, a joke about Redo of Healer, where you see people who are not fans of Redo of Healer says, "I can't believe this got animated," and then you see fans of Redo of Healer say, "Us neither." I'm not watching that. I know what's going on in that show, and I do not want to touch. I read it like a year or two ago. Like I read the Cliff Notes because it's like you can't bash something without knowing what it's about. But I heard that it's really bad. You know what I mean? So I looked online for like days. Like okay, I can't say I was online. I wasn't like terminally online, but like every night I would like go online and search for like, is there a clean version of this story? Clean version of the story, and somebody just posted like on Reddit 2 years ago the Cliff Notes. They can read in like 5 minutes to understand what the story is all about, and you'll be like, oh my God.
Also, yeah,
go on.
Yeah, that's also moving on from that because I think that we had enough. Because I kind of was always interested to know about this. I know that some people will just like probably hate me in the comments if they're watching this, but like I was always interested to know, but not interested enough to kind of like look it up myself to understand. I don't know.
Okay.
It sounds stupid. Anyway, what I want to talk about is that there's also other animes right now, which are actually, I heard they're actually kind of fine. The Pokemon new show,
good.
actually, I heard,
not watching
is actually
it.
really good.
I'm not watching it.
I'm not saying I'm going to watch it, but I heard it's actually pretty good.
I heard it's good too, but like, I just have no. I don't want to watch it, not because I'm too old to get invested into another Pokemon character. Does that make sense?
The question is, are they going to do it like a Yu-Gi-Oh format right now, where they're just going to do an adventure for the
I have no clue.
Know, the place itself, like the region, and then just move on? Because if they will do it like that, that may be worth it. But even then, it's like investing yourself in a new pro tag. Well, do a pro tag, but yeah,
I have no clue. But the one thing I do know, and this is something I heard like from behind the scenes. The writers of Pokemon have been trying to kill off Ash, not kill him physically, but kill him off from the show since X and Y.
Really? And why did he still stay after X and Y? Because don't get me wrong, X and Y was great, but like X and Y could have just been ending with him winning, and that's it. And then they could have just created a new pro tag.
Who knows? Who knows? But I heard that they've been trying to like get rid of him since, and every single end of the season, like after X and Y, it was Sun and Moon. And what happened in the end of Sun and Moon? He became the champion. And everybody thought that that would end there, right? They had to make him the Monarch. The Monarch is basically like above all the champions.
I think that's the reason why they also made Sun and Moon so different, also in the idea of like their league and everything, because they wanted to just like create something different for Ash to win.
I'm about to say something that every single Pokemon player hates to hear, but Pokemon has basically 3 games. It has the original Pokemon game, Sun and Moon, and Legends of Arceus. That's it. Every other game is a reskin of the first game. In my opinion, every other game
that I could see.
Because that
I could see.
Everybody likes to say, "Oh, Sun and Moon was terrible." No, Sun and Moon was incredible because, he stopped going to every single gym. He started, doing things that are, unrelated to gyms. Like, I thought that the whole, island challenges was genius because you can move. Sorry, because you can move on without it, but you want the Z crystal. And the only way to get to Z Crystal is to, do the challenge. I just enjoyed Sun and Moon a lot more than any other game, and I thought that. And I'm going to say like an unpopular opinion, but I think the worst game they ever made was Sword and Shield.
A lot of people actually think that way, but sure.
And I'll tell you why. They were breaking away from the mold, and then they jumped right back into the mold of. And I hated that so much. Like, what's the point? You're basically a reskinned first game. Legends of Arceus was cool.
I have a question for you, though. Before I'll say, like, 1 or 2 other animes that are around, is there any other anime right now this season that you're actually considered to be good for anything or not?
Oh. You know what? Sort of.
Which one?
I'm gonna say that I think it's healthy for the anime community that's coming out because a lot of people enjoyed. I personally don't like the anime because I finished the manga, but Demon Slayer.
Yeah, I wanted to say not the obvious ones, but sure.
And I'll tell you why. I read the manga until the very end during its original run. Like, I was reading it, and the ending is not to my liking. However, I am not so blind. Just because I don't like it doesn't mean I can't recognize it as a good anime. You know what I mean?
Yep.
But man, they took the train story and they ran that to the ground. They made 2 movies and like miniseries.
Yeah, the story for the train was like overdone. After the first season. Like, they saw, we hit gold mine, and then they just, like, ran it to the ground. And then they gotta start sword fixing it. But it's still, like,
it's too late.
Yep.
Okay, what other shows are you into? Because I think there's a lot of good shows.
There's also, I'm not saying I'm into, but there's also Fairy Tales 2 Season 2. I mean, Ed and Zero.
Oh, Ed and Zero. Yeah, I heard that's out.
I think it's not a bad show, and I think he learned from his mistakes. But I don't
I'm
know.
not watching. I'm not watching it. At least not
I don't
yet.
know.
I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna wait for it to be out. What else is out that's good?
Season 1 was decent.
Oh,
Then I don't know actually.
I know what's out that's good.
What?
Hell's Paradise.
What again?
Hell's Paradise.
Is it?
I heard that that's really good.
Okay, what is Hell Paradise? What's the name in Japanese? If there is a name in Japanese.
Jigokoruku Hell's Paradise.
And it's this season?
Yep. Here, I'll send you the name. Paste.
Interesting. For some reason, I didn't know about this one.
I heard the Hell's Paradise is decent.
Oh, this one, I've seen it. Okay, I haven't seen it. It just called Jikoru. They don't call it Hell Paradise. It just called Jikoru. Okay.
I heard that it's good. I don't know what it's about, but I'm gonna wait for it to get to like episode 6 or 7 before I start watching it.
Fair enough.
And what else is out that's good right now?
There's not really a whole lot.
I know there's a Gundam show out this season.
Yeah, there's a Gundam one now.
Gundam.
Yeah, I know.
But like, I don't know what I watched two Gundam series back in the day, and I thought they were, they were okay. But I'm not about to watch, another Gundam show because they're all very repetitive.
They're pretty much the same.
The one show that I really do want to watch that's not going to come out for a while is it's going to come out eventually is the Lupin the Third. I know that they're going to do another one soon. Here's another show that I heard a lot about that I'm not watching. Oshinoko.
What the hell is Oshinoko?
Have you heard of it?
No.
I don't know what it's about. I heard it's very good, but like, it doesn't look like something that I'd be into. But I know it exists, and everybody says that you know how long the first episode is?
How long?
90 minutes.
Wow.
And the other episodes are supposed to be 20 minutes. But like the first episode is 90 minutes, and I'm like, do I really have it in me to watch that? No. Maybe later. In like Oshinoko, I'll admit, has a good chance to get me to watch it because it bypasses my initial rule that there has to be enough content to get me into it. You know what I mean?
I think.
Because what's my rule about new anime, right? There has to be at least 6 episodes.
New anime?
There has to be at least 6 episodes out that I can binge to make a decision if I'm going to watch it or not.
Fair enough.
Because there are exceptions to the rule, but like my personal exception was Blue Lock, because I knew that I'm going to want to watch it. Blue Lock was incredible, by the way. I loved it.
Really?
A lot of people don't like it, and a lot of people did like it.
It's what is it called? The football anime or whatever, the soccer anime?
It's a soccer anime that's very reminiscent of, Squid Game to a degree, except instead of dying, you are banned from competitive soccer.
I remember you told me about that.
Yeah, and it's like... And you see a lot of people, like, that's a fate worse than death, But I'm really not into the whole death scene anime, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it's like, okay, cool, we get his motivation, but what's like, everybody's going to fight in order to live, Like, it's not something that unique that everybody wants. But like, being, like, the best soccer player in Japan... that's something that people can achieve by trampling other people's dreams, but without killing them. I'm not a fan of death, of meaningless death, and all those shows do is, in my opinion, is meaningless death. there's just so much to watch right now. And I know
Yeah.
that Giguk made a video of all the shows that came out, and I might watch it at some point. But I also have to deduct points from Giguk because he made a video what's it called, reviewing the girl who has relationships with the dog show that I don't want to talk about. You know, he actually watched it and made an entire video reviewing it, and I'm like, but why? Like, even for comedy, there are some lines that I'm not passing.
I'm not willing to pass. Yeah.
Yeah, and I in all honesty, I don't think we talked about everything that I wanted to talk about, but we talked about a lot, and I'm like,
A lot about stuff and a lot of really, really cool things that came out or now or whatever, or not never a lot of like terrible stuff that's happening. Oh my god.
Before we sign off, I just want to let everybody know that even though the episodes aren't coming out in the speed that we hope they would be coming,
Want to.
it's all Unfit's fault. No, I'm kidding.
Yes, it is.
No,
Actually, it is.
It's okay, you know. Like 2 weeks ago, I was dead sick. By the way, like sometimes I'm busy, you know. Like I was dead sick.
I had to deal with my wife, which is super sick until today. No. She's still a little sick, but I had to deal with that.
I was so sick. Remember that one day I sent you a weird message, like not middle of the night.
That like, connected to that. Yeah, so, I know.
I was so out. My fever was so bad that day that I don't even remember sending you that.
Wow.
I thought that it was a dream. You know what I mean? I was like. Mm-hmm. I was like, no, I didn't do that. Then I wake up the next morning, I'm like, oh, I had to apologize. I don't even want to remember what I sent you.
Also, what the hell is Bundo Stray Dogs that a lot of people talk about before we sign off? Because I don't know what that is, and I heard that there's a 5th season next season, which I'm actually excited for as well. Because there's Bleach and Jujutsu Kaisen coming out in the summer, but...
Oh, yes. Bleach, Jujutsu Kaisen, I love those shows so much.
But anyway, what is Bunda's Stray Dogs? I know that it like sound like I don't know anything, but like I don't know anything about that. I don't watch everything.
There isn't time. Anyway, there isn't time.
Yep. We're not like, as you mentioned in the last episode, we're not like single people who's sitting at home and doing absolutely nothing. We have things in life.
Yes. Once this podcast is over, I need to go back to work.
Yep. And I need to start preparing lunch and going back to studies.
Yay. So I'll do the outro.
And also call my mom.
Yeah. I'll do the outro. So,
okay.
If you guys enjoy the podcast, come back. We do this as much as we can. We talk about a lot of fun stuff. My name is Unharm. This is my co-host, Unfit. He runs 2 channels with incredible content. He runs the Unfit Crew, which is where we post the podcast. And he also runs a Yu-Gi-Oh! Based channel called Teamndl YGO, which is definitely 100% worth checking out, subscribing, and liking every video. After watching them, of course. Myself, I run a channel for, unfortunately, at the moment, only Town of Salem. Not because I want to. Mm-hmm. I want to upload other things, but if I upload anything that's not Town of Salem at the moment, my channel just tanks. You know?
Yep.
So I'm gonna look for a solution for that. But until then, I think the videos are good because I put a lot of effort into them. But regardless, check me out at dragonunharm here on YouTube. Links down below. And we will catch you all next time. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.